Good morning, it's Tuesday the 10th of December. We are certainly in the run up to Christmas now. Do grab yourselves a super cosy drink, a blanket, because you are home and we are in for another super festive vlog. I have got my very dear friend Mrs. P arriving at 11 o'clock for a little coffee and a piece of cake. So I'm trying to hold back the caffeine. This is my second coffee of the day. I've pulled out of the freezer the cake that I made. When did I make this? I made it on Monday and it will be on your last Wednesday vlog. I've just wrapped this in an IKEA cotton napkin and finished it off with a black satin bow. I won't open it yet because it's defrosting, but it's been finished with dried fruits, and I think on a festive bake, if you're trying to go for a very rustic, very rich cake, if you're looking to give your cake a real festive vibe, add in dried fruits, really rich tones like cranberries, raisins, sultanas, rich yellows, dark blacks, dark reds. It will just make your cake look very rich, very seasonal and super delicious. So there is lots going on today. I need to give the home a little bit of a festive spruce, let's say. I have let my batteries run out, so they are just about on, but I need to change battery packs around. I recharge all of my batteries, which is great this time of year because, as we all know, batteries just go, don't they, this time of year with all the twinkly lights. So we need to restock battery lights. I need to give everywhere a little bit of a clean. There's a few festive bits and pieces that I collected whilst my sister and I were over in the Cotswolds. If you would love to see Christmas in the Cotswolds, I shared that video on Saturday, and it is very chocolate box Christmas extravaganza, let's say. There's lots of beautiful footage over there, so do go and check that out if you want to see some calm festive joy, twinkly lights against the Cotswold stone. I think that you would very much enjoy that vlog that was, as I said, on Saturday. So today is about clean and motivation, a little bit of a home tour, as well as preparing a lovely coffee table ready for my friend to arrive. This afternoon I need to pop out because we're running low on food. So I was thinking, which supermarket haven't I been to for a while? I'm quite keen to go into Lidl and check out their Christmas foods. I went into Aldi recently. I haven't shown you what I've bought festive food wise, so I'll show you that later on, my Aldi Christmas food haul, but also there may be a Lidl Christmas food haul, so we'll have a look at that later. Let's take the day as it comes. I'm sure there'll be lots more little bits and pieces throughout the day. So I'm going to start with getting the kitchen organised. I've got washing up to do because yesterday we had a slow cooker meal. Love slow cookers this time of year. We had salmon. I often put salmon in the slow cooker around 2-3 o'clock, and slow cooker salmon just makes it so incredibly crumbly that it's a great one for a quick meal. I say quick meal, I know it's in the slow cooker, but once you've put everything into the pot, you just leave it. It meant I was able to get that ready yesterday afternoon. The smells of dinner were wafting through the home. I went out to Aqua last night. It's beginning to get very, very festive over at my Aqua class. Singing along to Christmas songs always makes me happy, and it makes the time go quickly. I am a huge, huge fan of Aqua. Probably go twice a week, sometimes 3 if I can. The only difficulty with going to Aqua is hair. I have a lot of it, and if I go to Aqua, it either means I need to spend 2 hours blow drying, straightening or curling my hair. Today is a very wow, a huge bird just came up onto the window. Today is a very homely day, so it's just up on my head, but it meant that last night when I got home from Aqua, I had dinner already. I just had to serve it up, and I served it with a little bit of teriyaki just over the vegetables, just to give it a little bit more taste. I'm going to stop talking because there's lots for me to be getting on with this morning before Mrs. P arrives. I'm going to go and put Classic FM on. I love Classic FM during this month. The music that they play, I think they say in one of their little jingles, the home of Christmas. And it always does feel like home when it's on. Traditional carols, traditional Christmas songs. It just fills the home with so much joy. sometimes think the thought of cleaning is worse than it actually is. Once you get started, it's fine. I use a minky cloth in the kitchen and I use Purdy and Fig as my general cleaner. I love all their scents. I know they've got a Christmas one out at the moment. I'm yet to buy the Christmas scent. My black cupboards that are around the base of the kitchen, they're beautiful, but they are the sort of colour and maybe texture that need cleaning every single day. And actually the stainless steel are the same. As soon as water goes on them, you can see marks. For me, it's one of those kitchen jobs that is done most days just to keep on top of it, because as soon as there's watermarks or as soon as there's a fingerprint, you can see it on these kitchen cupboards. But it's worth it though, because having a clean kitchen, the heart of your home, where you're preparing food for the family, it needs to stay as clean as possible so that you enjoy being in that room. Although this is a very small kitchen, I feel like this is probably my favourite room, especially this time of year. Let's get cracking. Lots of you have been asking me about the garland. I'm yet to change the battery, so it's not in its full glory at the moment, and it may need a few extra sprigs in there here and there, so hopefully I've got time to do that today. But I will just show you, because some of you are asking, does it drop down any? And no, it doesn't really. I think there's not even a handful here. It's hardly anything. Does anybody iron their tea towels? I only say this because I don't iron mine. It was something that my mum always used to do. She loved ironing tea towels. I think because she always said they were a nice easy shape to iron. And I understand why she did it, because I always think if you have everything looking nice, it makes you want to use those things more and more. But I don't iron my tea towels. It's not something I've ever done. Is it something that you do? Are you somebody who likes your tea towels super crisp? I fold mine very tiny, and then they live in a cupboard here. I'll show you where they live. They fit perfectly in here. We only have black tea towels, and there is a reason for that. Our kitchen is black and wood, as you know, so it just means that black tea towels fit really well. They don't really stand out if they're on the side, or if they're hanging over a hook, then they're not garish, they don't stand out. Right at the top of this cupboard is snowmen marshmallows, all ready for hot chocolate and a snowy day. Change the batteries in the Christmas tree. It's better. The kitchen is super clean and tidy. I'd like to go and get some more fresh greenery. I think it's best to show you around as evening draws in, because that way we will have that little bit of extra sparkle, because the twinkly lights will be super twinkly at that time. with the table runner. Cake is going to be displayed in the middle, so let's get that as the centerpiece and then we can work round. I'm just using layers here just to give different textures and different depth to the table. Now I've got some conifer, and I'm going to use the conifer along almost like a garland. So I'm going to go out from both sides, and it always looks nice if you almost crisscross. If I just show you that. So I've put my first one down, and now I'm just going to crisscross round. Do the same on this side. We can go out to the shop and buy plastic garlands. Galore. They've always got them in the shops. But fresh always looks beautiful. I'm going to have mine hanging slightly off the table. Just creates a little bit more interest.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, our weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morning.
So really simple coffee table layout, just to make coffee and cake just as festive as I possibly can. It makes it then a real treat for us. All I've done is lay it up with different fabrics and different textures. I've used some LED candles, some conifer, some charity shop baubles, obviously the table runner that you saw. Then I've used a wooden chopping board. My dear friend Mrs. P bought me that, so it's nice that she can see it being used. Conifer from the garden, which is lovely. Little cake knives are from H&M. Some of you may know already that Mrs. P is a fan of vintage baubles, so I've been collecting these whilst I've been out and about, and I'm going to give them to her today. She particularly likes ones with the metal tops, just like the ones in this box here. So these are vintage, but they've got the metal top. I'm going to leave these baubles out for her to have a little rummage through. I'll pop those over here in the kitchen. Mrs. P is one of those friends where we could talk for hours and hours and hours and hours. Don't you just love friends like that, where you can chit chat, say anything to one another, talk about this subject, that subject. We talked about everything and a million other things today. Well, that was such a lovely little afternoon stop. I'm going to carefully move away these glass baubles, and then later on we can put them onto the main tree. Earlier on I mentioned that I would use conifer just to give the little garlands over the mirrors in this main room and the garland all the way around the kitchen, just a little bit of a refresh. So I'm going to pop these in the basket, and then we can do that later on. So all these pieces will be recycled. We've just pulled up and Lidl is just behind me. Let's go in and check out what their festive aisle looks like. I'm really keen just to pick up a few bits for when guests arrive or for GB and I over the festive season. Do like their panettones. They've got the classic one there. They've also got the chocolate one, and they are £1.49. Their gingerbread flavoured chai latte looks great. GB and I will have a Christmas pudding, but I feel like this is too big really for the two of us. I want the little ones, but I can't find them. They look delicious, don't they? £1.49 they are. The panettone trio. So I've picked up the two small ones, but I may get these instead. So you've got the milk and cream, orange and chocolate. Here they are. I was looking for the smaller Christmas puddings. I think these are much better size. These mini Christmas cakes are great. I often buy these. Cheap for the Lindor Bear? What do you think? £3.29. I was wondering, have they got any other varieties? What are these? Oh, the little angel. Brandy snaps always remind me of time at my Auntie Christine's house. They're £1.25. Do you have young children staying with you for Christmas? £1.79. These are really nice just to have over the Christmas season. £9.99. Now this is a musical house. I'm not going to wind it up, but there is a little wind up there, so that would make a great gift, especially if you're staying somewhere and you want to take a little thank you. Got these in the dark Christmas green, but also the bronze colour as well. Fruit jellies at £4.99. Never liked these growing up, but I love these as an adult. Very tempted by these, I have to say. These are £1.99 for 6 fruit-shaped marzipans. I managed to get a few nice bits from Lidl, and I have a few lovely bits from Aldi to show you as well. Just particularly festive food. I shared these with you earlier. I'm just going to use some jute twine. Just going to thread them and put them onto our tree. It's amazing what you can find in a charity shop. You just never know what you're going to find. Always find space for extra decorations. Let's go on a little Christmas home tour. I will show you areas of my home that have festivity. I'm hoping that you will notice that my style is very Scandi, as I've mentioned, quite Nordic, rustic, bringing the outside in. My colour scheme is rich earth tones, so ambers, golds, blacks, forest greens. Very excited to show you around our little home. We live on a first floor apartment. We have a Juliet balcony, As you enter the apartment, this is 2 rooms that you can see. So obviously got our main bedroom on the left, and then on the right is the main room. So let's go in there first. This is the view from the double doors. I've popped some wreaths on the entrance and then some mistletoe overhanging just at the top. The Christmas tree is a Balsam Hill tree, an 8-foot Norway spruce, and it sits on top of a sledge. I'll show you that in a moment. You can see that I try and mirror everything in the main room. I like that the room has symmetry, so I've put arch-shaped mirrors on either side. So here is the Balsam Hill tree. It sits very tall in front of the arch window. If we look down here, you will see my sledge. The Christmas tree sits on a sledge with an IKEA faux fur rug. I was talking to you about my colour scheme, so I said about the rich ambers. Here's one of the dark greys, forest green, the blacks and the golds. The new 10p baubles. I bought these at Dalesford Farm in the Cotswolds last year. My very special dove sits pride of place on the tree. At the top of the tree, I've gone super sustainable with a wooden twig star. The tree is sitting slightly at a wonk. I need to get a wooden spoon and just knock the star up straight slightly. The pot that the tree sits in is from Balsam Hill. I've used conifer around the mirrors and then created some little bells just to hang in the middle. I've got some little wooden trees by the mirror there. We've had a look at the mirror over on the right. Here is the mirror on the left. Then I've got the conifer there and the bells. We've got LED candles. The little wooden trees here are just from Poundland at £4. One of the things I love about sitting here, where I'm standing, is that you can see right through into the kitchen. You can see that it's like a little cosy kitchen from here. When we first moved in, I didn't decorate in the kitchen at all. I just left it. But it is so nice coming home and sitting, reading a book, having the flow through into the kitchen. The twinkly lights in both rooms are just so incredibly warming this time of year. Sort of drives me to want to go and get more festive Christmas food. Hoping that you can see the Nordic design that we have with the tree and then the fresh foliage that we have around the home. Let's move through into the kitchen and I can just talk through what's going on in there. If you've caught up with the Scandi Christmas kitchen makeover, you'll know that I foraged the conifer from out in our garden and out and about. And I think that that really does help give a very inside-outside Christmas. It's very, very cheap to do. There's no plastic involved. So all I have done here is just threaded lights through, and then I have created some little conifer wreaths with black velvet ribbon. I feel like you see the kitchen quite a lot because I often stand here. Today's really about what is in the kitchen. So let's start with the top. I've made an advent calendar here, real focal point of the room. It's very, very sustainable. We've used a twig conifer, black velvet ribbon, brown bags, little pegs from, I think they were from Tiger. I've numbered each bag, each peg is also numbered, and a quote and a little chocolate treat is inside. The little Christmas tree is incredibly cute. I've always loved this tree. It's from Hayes Garden World. I love this little tree, so much so that I've got 2 of these. What I love about it is it's very uneven in its branches. I feel like the tree is very realistic looking, and the vintage bulbs matching the bulbs on the Balsam Hill tree really help to keep it in keeping from the outside. Here I foraged a conifer garland. I'm just going to pop a few fresh little bits of foliage in as I'm talking to you. It was really, really easy to do. If you're interested in creating a conifer garland, but you're not really too sure where to start, head over to my Scandi Kitchen Christmas Makeover and I will show you exactly how to build upon layers on your tiles in your kitchen, and also how to apply lighting. That video also talks about how to create the little conifer wreaths as well. I put the garland up on the 29th of November. It's only now, the 10th of December, that I feel like it just needs a little bit of a lift. And that's where you can just add in a few fresh branches and just keep building upon and building upon. I absolutely love it. I'll carry on adding a little bit more foliage later on. It's very, very addictive. You could just keep adding. You can see here that the garland goes all the way around the kitchen, along the top, underneath the tiles. It's very, very secure, so it won't fall on our vegetables. I've included the gold foil stars. They were a garland from Aldi, I think, a few years ago, but you could very, very easily make something like this yourself. This is a lovely book that we have out during Advent. It's just got lots of mindful quotes in recipes and crafts. The other book that I have hanging around in the kitchen is the vegan Christmas book. I'm a vegetarian, well, pescatarian, I eat fish. GB loves vegetarian and vegan food, so this is one of our go-to recipe books. We have the advent calendar and then the books on the side. I get a lot of questions about this pot. It's from IKEA. I absolutely love it. I think it's one of my favourite things in the kitchen. It is of course being used earlier on today with the mulled fruit drink. Bring it up a little bit more so you can see. I've got a little handmade forest green Christmas tree shaped garland. So these are just little Christmas cutouts, and then I have used some black satin ribbon, but also I have threaded lights through as well. If you're standing in the kitchen, this is how the tree looks. I love that the Christmas tree is such a key focal point, even from the kitchen. If I'm cooking at the stove, I can turn around and see this beautiful tree. I think this is possibly my favourite room in the apartment. I just feel like this is very homely and cosy. This is my place where I feel really at home. I think because I do a lot of home cooking, the smells from the kitchen. When GB gets in from work, I'm often in here. We have little chats in here. We often pull the coffee bar over to the middle and have our dinner in here all times of year. It's like a seasonal room really for us. If you're a regular over here on my channel, you'll know that I do a lot of baking segments, cooking segments, and I'll often use the coffee bar here and then show you how I'm doing things from this area. The night is definitely drawing in, so the bedroom's got a very cozy vibe at the moment. So you can see that there's a garland across the bed. I've also popped a little wreath on the door, and then my little Christmas tree is here. It's the same tree as the one in the kitchen from Hayes Garden World. So the garland across the bed was handmade. That is on the Scandi bedroom makeover if you are interested, just to know how I did this. I basically put bits and pieces in. Let's put the light on. Just might be able to see a bit better. It's definitely time to get the lights on anyway. The garland has been made from a base from B&M, I believe this was, frosted mistletoe. And then in the garland, just to give it a little bit more substance, I have tucked behind some artificial Norway spruce there. I've also added in some dried eucalyptus. I've used little wire lights in there. The garland itself has no sticky hooks, nothing to hold it, other than it is being tucked between the bed and the wall. No hooks, no command hooks, nothing like that. And of course we all need a stocking by the bed, otherwise Santa won't know where to put his gifts. GB's got the same on his side just there. I've got a little wreath over the wardrobe here. I've made this wreath. It's using the artificial stems. I just wanted pure green and then the white ribbon. Show you that nice and close. The tree itself moves around. Sometimes it sits here by the door on an IKEA faux fur rug. Sometimes it sits by the mirror. I quite like it by the mirror because it will shine through. The little basket is from B&M, very White Company vibes. And then I have hand stitched on a decoration just to the front of the basket. It's a very much white bedroom, so everything in here is very neutral, very calming, very Scandi. The bed itself is very cozy. I've tried to create a very, let's say, fluffy cloud-like bed, and all I've done to do that is added extra pillows. So we've got a long pillow along the back, both of our normal pillows, and then just a couple of scatter cushions. The pillows almost come out halfway, and I always feel like that's very, very inviting. I love throwing myself on the bed, sitting in the middle with a book, a hot chocolate, maybe watching a film. So there's a duvet here, and then I have a separate extra winter duvet. This one is very, very thick pile. To get into bed, it is super, super cozy. So you can put the little lights on. I feel like that adds to the festive cheer. I do get asked a lot about my bathroom. I will definitely run this all through with you another day. I've got my little Christmas tree in the corner. My Christmas tree is from IKEA and I've just added some little twinkly lights. So on the bespoke wooden shelf, you can see it hooks over the bath. So there's no worry that it's going to go anywhere. It doesn't move. Again, bringing the outside in, just a little bit of mistletoe, just to add some festive cheer in here. Got a little Christmas tree sitting here on this side. The best thing about my bathroom is when I am sitting here. When I sit right here, I overlook the Christmas tree in the main room. And don't worry, nobody from outside can see me because this room is up and then right at the back of the apartment. The festive food selection that I'm about to show you are bits and pieces that we will enjoy with our guests, or just when we're having a festive cozy evening at home ourselves. I'm going to start with the Lidl bits and then we'll move over to the Aldi selection. Let's run through what we've got. I'm going to start with the bottle. So this is Glühwein. Glühwein, if you haven't tried it already, is incredible. GB and I tried Glühwein when we were over in Sweden. We absolutely love it. It's not Christmas until we've had a glass. If you like mulled wine, then this is slightly sweeter and richer. So the idea is that you serve this up with dried fruits, maybe a few nuts. You could have those at the bottom of your glass. I've bought a couple of bottles just to see us through the season. Next up is, you may have seen me looking at these in Lidl earlier. Quite often over Christmas, GB and I will have a little breakfast at home, of course a panettone. I've just bought one small one each. There's only GB and I at home, so I don't want to buy something that's too large, but they have a huge selection of panettones over in Lidl. I think they were £1.49 each. You may have seen that I was really keen to find the little Christmas puddings. I've bought a couple of these. We love Christmas pudding, but one large pud is too big for GB and I. How do you have your Christmas pudding? With cream, brandy cream, ice cream, on its own, in a different way? Do let me know. What else do we have in our little selection? I was very lucky to find these peanut clusters. There was just a couple of the milk chocolate bags left. There was lots of the white chocolate, but as I say, not very many of the milk chocolate. These are incredible. If I try and zoom in a bit, it's basically what it says, peanuts covered in milk chocolate. That just sounds incredible. And I know from last year that they really, really are. So I was very lucky to get my hands on these. These would make a great hamper gift, wouldn't they? You probably saw me looking at the little teddy bears. I couldn't resist these. I think popping these into a bowl and having these out for when guests come round is just a little added extra touch. Now I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't normally buy fruit-shaped marzipan. I feel like my trip to Burford Garden Company has inspired this purchase. When we were there, we saw a tray of fruit-shaped marzipan for £95. It's just made me think that I need to know what all the fuss about fruit-shaped marzipan is about. So I've just bought 6 here and I'm going to wrap those up for GB and pop them into a stocking. Moving over to the Aldi selection now, I'm going to start with the Christmas Star Brioche, and I'm going to be very honest, I didn't buy this. Mrs. P brought this round earlier. It is something that I do buy every year, but I've not managed to get my hands on one yet. And I am incredibly thankful that she has seen them and picked one up for me. It's very, very likely that GB and I will open this over the Christmas season. Maybe a day where we're having a little bit of a lie-in, and we'll take this back to bed with a cup of coffee and a tray and maybe a crossword puzzle, radio on, that sort of thing. One of my favourite Christmas finds, and I am so thankful that my friend found this for me because I looked recently and couldn't find them anywhere. We've got the star-shaped pretzels, something that I buy every year. Great for when guests come around, you're having a games night, that sort of thing. Great little nibble on the table there. Talking about nibbles, I've got a few other nibbly bits. I actually opened these up today. These are the salted caramelised mixed nuts. Don't they look delicious? Little nibble bowls of salted caramel nuts. You know what I'm going to do right now, just have one or two. Oh, that was so good. So good. I'm just enjoying those. More nibbly little bits. Got some dark chocolate Brazil nuts there. You can buy them everywhere, but Aldi do have them at such a great price. I've got some Festive spice cinnamon nuts in a jar, and also chocolate sesame sensation. I'll show you what that's in there. Let's move over to the cheeses. They've currently got a great selection of Christmas cheese, and just look at this beautiful snowflake. This is the extra mature coastal cheddar in snowflake shape. Couldn't get much more Christmassy than that with a cheese. These ones looked really nice as well. So double Gloucester with onion and chives, and then the cheddar with caramelised onion. Now I've bought this for Christmas, and I know I've talked a lot about this mature cheddar cheese bake. Most supermarkets sell them now. So they come in a little terrain. You pop them into the oven. I like to put something in the middle to bake with the cheese, like Marmite. If you're a lover of Marmite, try it. You will not look back. Melted cheese with Marmite and cheese straws, incredible. So I might put Marmite in there. I might put some caramelised onion chutney. I've got some cranberry sauce there from Aldi. That was the sort of thing that I would pop in the middle of the cheese just to give it a little bit more festivity. Okay, let's move over to the sweet treats. I'm going to start with my Christmas cake. I really wish that I made my own cake, but I don't. Maybe next year I will give it a go. But I find that just a little cake for us two is perfect. The ultimate mince pie. I know that GB and I will really enjoy these over the festive season. And last but not least, some Christmas tree biscuits. These are wonderful when your guests include children, but I'm also sure that grown-ups will like them equally as much. Well, I certainly will, that's for sure. Just approaching 5:30. I really don't know where the day has gone today. It's gone by in such a flash. And I'm sure that we all find that in the run up to Christmas, the days just go by so quickly, don't they? How are you all with your Christmas jobs? Are you feeling like you are on track? It's been a great day today. I've loved catching up with my very dear friend, and I've loved sharing the day with you all as well. We've got so much more to look forward to in the run up to Christmas. It may be my birthday next week. So GB and I are possibly going into London, trains depending. In England, you'll know that we've got a bit of a difficulty at the moment with the trains. So it's all train dependent. If we can get there, we will go and have a lovely festive day in the city. There's Christmas craft to do, there's Christmas baking to be getting on with, and so much more in between. If you love Christmas content, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. My channel is all about seasonal living, trying to slow down, and sort of savouring the small moments in life, let's say. I'm going to make myself and GB a little mulled fruit drink. This is non-alcoholic, but it will start the evening off in a lovely, cosy way. Thank you for watching. Do keep in touch. I love to hear from you. Take care, and I'll see you all on Saturday. Bye for now.